Hey guys, John here. I just want to talk for a couple minutes about preparation versus improv in RPGs. And what's the best way to go about running a game? Should you be extremely prepared, or is it better to just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and see what happens? Before I get into my thoughts on the topic, let me start off by saying that obviously, different things work for different people. And it's really a case-by-case basis. You need to, trial and error. You need to figure out what works best for you and your group. I will say that for beginning GMs, it is probably best to be prepared as you can be, probably. Obviously, regardless of whether you're going to try to be improvised or prepared, you need to be familiar with your system, familiar with the setting, familiar with your players and what they want out of the game. But even as a starting GM, if you're sitting at home and you feel confident on the setting material and on the system, still I would recommend bringing, once you get to the gaming table, having your some pre-written stuff there. Like some NPCs, some prominent NPCs that the players can meet, of course. Some of those NPCs is motivations. Some cool settings, some cool locale, perhaps even, getting into some themes and motifs if you want to, kind of go down that route, if you want to get deeper with things. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend statting out NPCs, personally. Now, it is good, when you're dealing with a system that you've never ran or played before, to print out character sheets and make a character or two, just to familiarize yourself with the character creation process for that specific game, and just the way the sheet looks and where everything is. That's probably a good thing to do. But I wouldn't personally sit there and print out 12 character sheets and sit there and make a dozen characters. That just doesn't appeal to me. That doesn't sound fun. If that sounds fun to you, then, by all means sit there and do some number crunching and pump out some NPCs. But what I think the time could be better spent focusing on, having three-dimensional NPCs. It's not the stats on the sheet that matter as much as the NPC's motivations, what they want, where they stand, where their allegiances lie, is more important than how many dots they have in strength, or how many contacts they know. So I would say that unless that sort of thing is really fun to you, don't necessarily worry about it. Have your NPCs written down, but you don't need to, go and fill out, character sheets for them and all that business. As far as the improv camp goes, well, even the best improvisers, need to be familiar with the setting to some extent. They need to read the book for the game, at the very least, one time through. They need to, be pretty confident with the rules. And from then on, the thing about improv is that it's really a skill set. Not everyone feels comfortable doing it, and not everyone thinks that they can do it. But here's the thing about role-playing, is that it is improvised. The players, in every session, the players will do something to take the GM off guard, to surprise you. That curveball from left field out of the blue. I can guarantee you, it won't always be to the same degree, and it won't always be as often. But in every session, at least in some small way, things won't go exactly how the GM has it planned. But after all, isn't that what makes role-playing fun? Is that, you're sitting here live, face-to-face, playing this game that's happening in the moment, and it's never going to happen again. Even if you tried to recreate any given session, you couldn't. It would defeat the purpose. I think that's really, part of the appeal and the fun of role-playing is the improv element. And also, think about this. Let me plant this seed in your head. Everything the players do is improvised, right? So why can't we expect the same from the GM every once in a while. Now, I know the GM already has, a lot on his shoulders from the way most people perceive it, but I think that a lot of the things that traditionally we see as the GM's responsibilities, don't necessarily, well, they're not as important as other things, in my opinion. Again, this is just me talking here. I don't really care about how many dots in strength the orc has. I want to know what's making that orc tick. I want to know what, does he have to make alimony payments? Is that why he's pissed off? Has he had too much to drink? Has he not had enough to drink, perhaps? I want to know the character of the orc. I don't really care about his stats. I mean, sure, of course, describe him as a burly, oafish man with arms the size of biceps the size of boars. Sure, have that in there, but I don't need to know that his strength is X or his intelligence is Y. That's not what's important. What is important is that he's here and we have to interact with him and figure out how to overcome this obstacle. So, even the most prepared GMs and even the GMs that prefer extreme preparation should be able to improvise. Even if that's not really your bag, you should know that it's on the table. After all, I mean, we ask the players to do it. Can't we expect the same for ourselves?